Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to share with you how to make a basic bodice block. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe. Thank you very much. God bless you. So let's get started. The first thing we'll do is to measure out 1 inch from the starting point. Measure out 1 inch and I'll take out my shoulder measurement. Shoulder measurement is 16 and 16 divided by 2 is 8 inches plus half inch for sewing allowance. So my shoulder measurement will be 8.5 inch. So I'll draw a straight line to mark out my shoulder line. After that, the next thing I'll do is to measure out my neckline. My neckline for this basic bodice pattern is 3.5. I'm going to use 3.5 for it because it's the standard neckline measurement, except you want a wider one. Then I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. So the next thing I'll do is to draw out my armhole. And the formula for armhole measurement is bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. And my bust is 38. 38 divided by 6 plus 1.5 will give me 7.8. So I'll approximate it to 8 inches. So I will mark it out and draw my straight line from my shoulder slope down to the 8 inches. The next thing I'll do is to mark out my vertical measurement. So that is from shoulder to the other point. So now from my shoulder to my bust point is 10 inches. And from my bust point to my waist is 16 inches. Then from my waist to my hip is 23 inches. After pointing out my vertical measurement, I will then draw out my horizontal measurement, that is from my center front to the other side. I guess you are wondering where is the hip measurement, so that's what I'm taking now. I'm taking my hip from my shoulder to my hip measurement, which is 23 inches, and I'll draw my line also. The next thing I'll do is to mark out my horizontal measurement, and on my bust point, my bust is 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. So I'll mark it out, and after my bust point I'll go to my waist. My waist is 31 divided by 4 would give me 7.75. So I will mark out my waist or measurement, which is 7.75 also. After I take out my measurement, I will add 2 inches on each side of my measurement for sewing allowance. At first I added 1 inches, so I realized that I'll be needing 1 more inch, because the first inch I added is for my dart allowance, so the other 1 inch will be for sewing allowance. It's very important to put all this allowance, because if you don't, when you are done sewing, the outfit will not be your exact size. But when you leave this, you give this measure allowance, by the time you are done, you see that the clothes will be your exact size. So after I'm done with that, the next thing I'll do is to take my upper chest measurement. My upper chest measurement is this exact line with the armhole measurement, and is the exact measurement with your bust divided by 4. After I draw the line, I'll label it upper chest line, bust point, waist and hip line. After that is done, the next thing I'll do is to trace my point with my ruler. From my bust point, I'll trace to my waistline. On my allowance, please, not on the main measurement, on my 2 inches allowance. So I'll also add the 2 inches allowance on the upper chest line area also, so that it will be equal, as you can see. The next thing I'll do is to take my armhole curve. So for this front curve, I'm going to look for the midpoint, which is 4 inches, and I'll go in by 0.5 inch and I will mark. Then I'll take my French curve and trace out the curve from the top part, tracing it through the 0.5 inch. And that is all for the front armhole. For the back armhole, you won't go in by half an inch. This is just for the front armhole. So the next thing now is to take out my neckline measurement. So my neckline, I'll go down by 4 inches because I don't want it to be too wide, just normal 4 inches. And we already know that my neck width is 3.5 and my neck depth is 4 inches. I'll just draw this line this way and I'll use my French curve to take the curve out. The next thing I'll do is to go down and trace out my line from my waist to my hip. After all of that is done, this is what it looks like. If you follow everything I've been doing step by step, you get the exact same result. So I'm trying to remove the pointy part of the clothes to make it curvy. That was what I just did. So the next step is for me to take out my dart measurement. So for your darts, you need your nipple to nipple measurement. My nipple to nipple measurement is 8 inches. So 8 inches divided by 2 is 4. So that is what I am taking out. I measured 4 inches on my bust point, 4 inches on my waist. So I'll draw a straight line from my bust point to my waist, and from my waist down to 2 inches above my hip line. Don't forget, 2 inches above the hip line. After I drew my straight line, I measured from my bust point down to 1 inches. That is where my dart will be starting from, not on my bust but 1 inches below my bust point. And on my waistline, I measured 0.5 inch on both sides. After that, I drew a triangle line connecting the 0.5 inch from both sides to the 1 inch below below my bust point. As you can see, I'll draw it and I'll do the same thing for the down. I'll draw triangle shape from the 2 inches above my hip point to the 0.5 inch on both sides, as you can see. The next thing I'll do is to go to my hip line and go up by 1 inch and just place my ruler on it and just connect it that way to give the top a bit of a shape at the down part of it. So that is all for the front pattern. So I'm going to start cutting. Our advice, whenever you are cutting, you take it easy, you cut carefully. So this is the front part. If you notice, I didn't cut out the half inch, the 0.5 inch from the armhole yet, and I didn't cut out the neckline yet because I have to place it on the back measurement. So for the back side, I'm going to take 1.5 inch measure out 1.5 inch, and that would be for the zipper allowance. I will draw a straight line to mark it out. After that is done, I will place my front pattern on the back and place it. You can use your tape to hold it very well so that it doesn't move away from where it's supposed to be before you cut. And when after you've placed it very well, then you can now cut. You can write on that 1.5-inch zipper allowance so you don't forget after cutting. So now for your back, you measure out your 3.5 from your zipper allowance, your 3.5, which is your neck width. Then you come down by 2 inches. You come down by 2 inches and you draw a straight line just like the front. Then you take your curve and you cut. You cut it through the zipper allowance, both the zipper allowance. You just cut it that way straight. Then after that, after taking that, then you come to the front now and take out that 0.5 inch that you is for the front, and this 0.5 inches to remove the bulge that will be on the front if you don't remove the 0.5 inch because of the bust measurement. Then you also cut out your neckline for the front also. So that is all for the basic bodice block. This is the back part of it and the zipper allowance, and this is the front part of it. I believe you can see the dots very well here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more. See you in my next video.